Welcome to the Leaders of Tomorrow, the only show on Indian television where you, the MSME, get center stage. This is ET Now's special daily initiative to give MSMEs and entrepreneurs the opportunity to be front and center on every industry and every area that matters to you. We have a very exciting show lined up for you today. On the show on Influencer, the focus will be on Sabka Dentist, and later on the show on Small Giants, we'll put the focus on IGP.com. Now, in an industry where nearly all dental clinics are standalone and unbranded, how does a branded chain of dental clinics manage to retain a repeat customer base? We caught up with Vikram Vora of Sabka Dentist to quiz him on this and more. Take a listen. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, Vikram. Let's start very quickly by talking about the journey that you've had in the oral healthcare and hygiene market.
Sure. So, Sabka Dentist is basically a affordable curative dental service provider. We focus on providing affordable dental treatments primarily to middle class and lower middle class of urban areas. We are currently located in Mumbai, Pune, Surat, Ahmedabad and Bangalore. We started off in 2010. And in 2010, we started with a bootstrapping mode where we had put 3 clinics with this intent of putting 3 clinics to service the dental requirements of the middle class and lower middle class.
Okay, so you're saying essentially the idea behind starting your brand and your company was to tap the middle class. My question to you is, I was reading up a report by Kent Research that says 95% of all units in India right now in this market, in your space, are single units. Why did you think that there was then a market, and how did you arrive upon that? There was a market where you could have a chain which was branded and therefore possibly slightly higher priced than single units.
So prior to what we are doing today, that is dental services, me and my brother were selling dental materials as marketing representatives. The benefit of being marketing representatives is that you spend a lot of time in waiting areas of doctors, and that's when we had the opportunity of talking with a lot of patients whose dissatisfaction towards dental treatments was because of lack of transparency in the system and affordability. So we very clearly came to a conclusion that if this lack of transparency and affordability could be converted into a business plan, it can be an opportunity to make a really sustainable and scalable business. And that's the basis on which we designed this model. And we've grown it very clearly with these 2 specific core propositions.
Okay, and there's been, of course, market acceptance to having a branded product like yours.
Yes, yes. I mean, and while we have been in the market for 7 years, we've seen very good growth rate and traction across the years, and this is very evident from the fact 3 things that tell us that we are really good at it, right? One is that we've grown at more than 20% every year, both in terms of revenue as well as number of new patients. Our number of patients that have come to us due to positive reviews from friends and family members have doubled every year, which means that they are happy. And the third thing is that our traction on social media and media that is actually driven by patients themselves has always increased rather than doubled every year. So, which very clearly shows that people are accepting what we do and like what we do.
Okay. So, talk to our viewers then who either might be in your space or are small businesses that are looking at possibly expanding. The 2 or 3 things that you kept in mind as far as your social media and your digital strategy is concerned. How much percentage of your revenues, your bookings, your customer recalls are now coming from your online platforms, and what are you doing to sustain that?
So while it has changed over time, around 80% of our traction comes in the form of online users. So
on your individual platform,
yes,
and not through third-party vendors.
No. So most of our traction and most of our patients are coming organically on our website through Google searches or through searches on other search engines, and then landing on our website where they give us an opportunity to give them a checkup or a treatment. And so it's all not through third party. And in terms of how we've built it, we've stuck to our core proposition. So in all our communication, we've stuck to the fact that we will talk about affordability, we will talk about how we can make dentistry easier and available and accessible and affordable to everybody around us. And that's been always our focus.
Sure. Okay. A lot of experts who come on our show tell us that the best model for a small business which is looking at expanding is through the franchise model. You, I understand, look entirely at company-owned businesses and outlets. What has the experience been for you like? Talk to our viewers about, perhaps the benefits and the advantages of each of these models and how it's worked for you.
So we are currently a completely company-owned, company-operated business. Across our period of 7 years while we've been in business, we've kept contemplating on whether to do franchise or not, because franchising is the easiest route to expansion because you don't need capex. But along with it comes two questions. The first question is, will you be able to provide the same level of treatment that you promise from a company-owned, company-operated store?
Sure.
And secondly, will you be able to manage the quality? If these two questions are answered as yes, then you can go to franchising, but it needs to be a very strong yes. We believe that since there might be some conflict of interest between the franchisee and us when deploying these things, and quality of service for us is of prime importance, we've not yet gone to that route, but it's always an open gate and we might take it up in the future when we are confident that we will be able to deliver the same level of service through the franchisee too.
Okay, so in your 7 years of existence, you've rebranded yourself. You've gone from My Dentist to Sabka Dentist. Just talk to our viewers about that experience, why you felt the need to rebrand, and for our viewers who perhaps may be looking at rebranding or who are looking at creating a brand identity and USP for themselves, what would you have to say?
So rebranding is not always a pleasant experience. Okay. However, in our case, we were always aware that the brand that we were prior to this using was a generic brand, a brand that is a combination of two English words, and our IP lawyers had always suggested that it's not the most safe option, since you might never be able to get a trademark from it. It takes 5 years for the trademark authorities in India, between 5 to 10 years for a trademark authority in India to provide you the final registration, and hence we were always insecure about this. Although when we started, we didn't think much about it, but after 2 years, the IP lawyers had indicated that there is a doubt here. Last year, an event happened where a single clinic with the same name as our previous brand had approached the court in order to avoid us from using the brand, and somehow the court did give the litigation a chance. And while the matter is sub judice and it is being argued in the court, what we decided was that instead of spending time, effort and money in a legal process that could last years, it's better to just move on with a name that is safer, and also take the opportunity to rebrand yourself into something that is closer to your core proposition, and hence Sabka Dentist, which of course is in line with the Prime Minister's slogan that we want to be everybody's dentist, we want to serve everybody, and hence making it affordable and accessible.
Okay, has the transition been smooth? Any sort of initial period where you felt that your brand or your demand or your revenues were taking a hit?
So it was difficult. It was difficult.
What did you do then?
So while the revenues took a hit of approximately 30% in the first 2-3 months, what we did was we started with a campaign which said, "Sirf naam badla hai, Vishwas wahi," and it did work well. It took us 6 months to come back to the original traction at which we were when we made the brand change. But now, with the grace of God and our team's efforts, we've been able to reach where we were 7 months ago, and people are really loving the new brand. They associate with them, especially our target audience is actually relating better with the new brand, and we are happy with it.
Okay, so very quickly then, one more question on this. 1 or 2 things that going through an IP has taught you. We speak about IPs quite often on Leaders of Tomorrow, and what IP for small businesses, MSMEs, SMEs, entrepreneurs mean. What has the experience taught you? 1 or 2 things that you'd want to advise our viewers to keep in mind if they're looking at an IP.
Most early startups, and especially startups which are first generation entrepreneurs, do not really take IP very seriously.
Should they be?
I guess we made the same mistake.
Okay.
We should take a unique name, and more importantly in terms of branding, a unique name in the sense something that is not directly lifted out of the English dictionary. That's the first learning that I had. And second is we need to work with IP lawyers right from the beginning and invest a little more in diligence. We learned it the hard way, but well, all's well now. So
my last few questions to you. One, GST. Two, demonetization. GST for the medical fraternity, of course, doesn't apply, but GST in terms of, say, medical equipment, etc., has that had any impact on you?
So yes or no? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that while on medical equipments GST did increase from 12.5 to 18%. So your capex investments do increase, but that's something that is actually apportioned over a large span of time, and so it doesn't directly have any operational difficulties. We've been fortunate of not being in the gambit of GST because we are exempt from it. But with that, the other problem that comes is that we can't claim set off against GST that we pay for products, for services, which could, if we were, be set off, and thereby we could have reduced our prices. But at this point, it gets transferred to the consumers.
Sure.
So not a very large impact. In terms of demonetization, while it did impact the demand a bit in the early times when people had reduced their spends, it has worked in our favor, because what has happened is our collections in terms of revenue were in the form of 70% coming in as cash and 30% coming in as plastic money. It has reversed. Now 70% of our collections come in as plastic money and only 30% come in as cash. So our costs of cash management and our pressures and difficulties of cash management have been removed. So we are very happy with demonetization.
Okay. A quick last question to you. 13.9% by 2018 is what the dental care market is expected to touch, according to reports. How much of this will come from outside of the metros?
Early days, I mean, if you were to say the next 5 years, it's going to be the metros and the urban areas that will contribute to this growth rate, because the growth rate is not happening because of increase in supply. It's going to happen because of increase in demand, and this demand is going to be driven by adoption and awareness of people for dental services, and that's going to happen primarily in the metros first, and then will be followed out into the rural areas as well as the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So I guess it'll be the metros first.
All right. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for coming on our show, Vikram.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Time for a break. When we come back on Small Giants on the other side, the focus on IGP.com tonight. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on our Small Giants segment, the focus is on IGP.com. Now, gifting can often be a daunting task for many, whether it's choosing the right gift or ensuring that you discover new gifting ideas. Mumbai-based IGP.com has got your back. Shubhangi Sinha caught up with the co-founder to bring you tips on making it big in a fast-growing yet competitive market. Take a look.
Flowers and bouquets, chocolates and coffee. Diwali, Christmas, New Year's or Rakhi, tell someone you care. Gifts have always been the best way to celebrate special occasions, and with the growing online gifting industry in India, customers are spoiled for choice. Bringing quality, innovation and customization to the gifting space is Mumbai-based IGP.com. Co-founded by Manan Sharma and Tarun Joshi, this company is making gifting intelligent. Tarun, you co-founded IGP.com about 5 years ago, and at a time where there were not too many players in the online gifting space. Talk to me about what was the inspiration at that point in time.
I think there was a lot of emergence of e-commerce companies that was mostly driven by the horizontals, so to say, the Flipkarts and the Snapdeal at that point in time. But there was a clear need for specialized players in some of the leading categories which was coming out. And gifting being a very, very large industry and is a need that you, me, all of us have when we want to connect to our families or friends or social obligations. So clearly it looked like a very strong opportunity.
At IGP, you aim to be a comprehensive gifting platform. Talk to me about the kind of services that a user can perhaps look forward to.
So if you look at the gifting market, it's actually divided into three key portions. The first one, so the total market size is roughly about 40 odd $billion. The first segment is our festivals. And India has like between north, south, west, east, so many festivals, right from your Lodi, Pongal to Valentine's Day, Holi, Rakhi, Diwali. So among these 10 key festivals, there is a very strong curation or curated merchandise that is required, and it works like a fashion house. So for every festival, 6 months in advance of that festival, our merchandisers and sourcing guys go all over into the market and buy products which are then specially packed into packagings, mixed with the right kind of sweets to chocolates to dry fruits, and eventually made into a hamper which can be gifted. Right. Similarly, if you look at on your normal occasions or private occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, you need very dedicated merchandise depending on which recipient are you giving it to. Now, the third category is your entire corporate gifts. And corporates have requirements which are across rewards and recognition, to rewarding their employees, to their channel partners. Some want products like electronics, some want products like flowers, cakes to celebrate birthdays, etc. So these are the three kinds of customer base that we have.
Now, when somebody is really looking for a gift, they might not always know what exactly they're looking at and might just have a rough idea of a budget. In this case, how are you really able to track user behavior and help them discover better gifts?
80% of the consumers do not know what to gift, and 50% of the consumers want the gift to be delivered in like one day, or they remember an occasion just about a day in advance. How we tackle the customers who do not know is via a very strong gift discovery platform, which is very simplistic in nature. A consumer comes online, presses a button which says all gifts, and takes him through the journey of choosing his gift. The first question being, what's the recipient? Is it a man, woman? Once you select the recipient, then it asks what is your relationship, because relationships drive your intimacy factor and your budgets. Now, people do not like to ask that question straight up front that, look, I want a gift within 1,000 rupees, but that's playing at the back of your mind. So we ask the question in a subtle manner that what's your relationship? Once a relationship is identified, we ask what is the occasion. Basis just these three parameters, we allow a right gift to be chosen and showcased to a consumer. Typically what we have seen is consumers, when they go via this platform, end up converting at up to 40%. So which means 4 out of 10 consumers end up just buying the product because it is the right product what they were looking for.
So I'm sure that technology and innovation really plays a huge role at IGP, and I understand that you're trying to incorporate deep learning into your algorithms as well. Talk to us about that.
A person browsing a website from Bhopal versus a customer browsing from Mumbai or from USA will all have different sort of price points in mind, will have different sort of products in mind, tastes in mind, and it is very important to give each of these people very different catalogs to browse. And if you give that, then the conversion rates, as I was mentioning earlier, become extremely high. So what we do is we look at all the historical data plus a lot of pre-fed data into our algorithms, which define the right catalog basis the relationship, who's the recipient and what is the occasion, powered by all these parameters to throw exactly right catalog.
Sure, and I think taking your point forward, it is absolutely necessary for a gift to be delivered on time, because it's quite an unforgiving market. You know, a user may not come back to you if the gift wasn't delivered in time. How do you in that case make sure that you're able to manage the logistics well?
Yes, so we have almost about close to 1 million odd customers. That data gives us very specific timelines of when a product leaves from a Mumbai warehouse versus a Jaipur warehouse versus a Lucknow warehouse, and if it is supposed to be delivered to a remote location in Meerut versus a location which is California or Los Angeles in California. Our system is able to explain to the consumer right when he is buying what is the tentative time in which this product is expected to be delivered. Now this data comes from our historical data, the number of parcels that we have provided, and how well the logistics infrastructure in this country is improving. Because in last 4 years what we have seen is a logistics player which used to take, let's say, about 2 days to deliver a parcel to Delhi has started taking 1 day, and with time they may get better. So that plus the historical data enhances our capability to tell the consumer very accurately as to when your gift would be delivered.
Now, you service 93 countries across the globe. What are in fact then the biggest challenges that you've had to face while trying to bring the company to where it is today?
We need stronger courier partners, we need stronger delivery partners, because we cannot do all that on our own. As that ecosystem is building up, it is helping us do better things.
With a consumer-centric, agile approach focusing on curating unique gifts, IGP.com may just be the gift that the Indian gifting landscape didn't know it needed.
That's our show tonight. If you have any questions, any feedback whatsoever, you want to be featured here on the show, to remember, you can always write in. leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com is our email ID. On social media, tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J or LOT_ET now. That's our official Twitter handle. On Facebook, Leaders of Tomorrow and ET Now is where you can leave your questions on our Facebook page or call us on the number you see on your screen. We love hearing from you. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good night.